scientific consensus was that pigments were locked into a layer of connective tissue. But research now shows that the ink actually ends up in the dermis, engulfed by white blood cells called macrophages. At France's Aix-Marseille University, immunologists discovered that when such a macrophage dies, the pigment is released into the body. After a while, other macrophages take up some of the color. This way, the pigment is transferred from cell to cell.
Well, the experiments told us that actually the tattoo is a very dynamic process. So the cells are always taking up new ink and then release it and then taking up again.
That also explains why tattoos often fade or become blurry over time. The new macrophages don't manage to catch all the ink that's been released. So what happens to the ink that escapes? Medical physicist Wolfgang Bäumler is researching that at the University of Regensburg. He cut open the lymph nodes of deceased people with tattoos and discovered that some of the pigment had ended up there. He found it green here and red here.
We estimate that about 30% of the pigments remain in the skin, but the bearer of the tattoo hardly notices the reduction because the colors are so intense. The rest gets carried off. Some ends up in the lymph nodes and the liver. A smaller amount is eventually expelled from the body. Anybody who wants to get a tattoo should be aware of the fact that a lot of the pigment will remain in the body forever, including carcinogenic substances.
What happens when someone wants to have their tattoos removed, such as Anita?
I want to wear short sleeves at family events or in the summer. I can no longer identify with my tattoos. It's not me anymore. I want them removed.
Anita has made an appointment for laser tattoo removal.
I really have to force myself to go because it's very painful.
No wonder, as the laser blasts the pigment molecules into smaller pieces and destroys the enclosing macrophages. Other macrophages take up some of this pigment, so it doesn't disappear straight away. Anita has 4 appointments in all. Could the latest findings from France change these procedures?
That will be the future of how to remove better the tattoo. Make sure that the macrophage won't be eating up the ink anymore, and to have the cells that will be draining the ink, the pigments, out of the skin.
A suggestion that Professor Bäumler rejects out of hand.
The laser destroys tissue in the skin, causes tiny tears in the skin's surface. That lets in bacteria, so it's not a good idea to knock out the macrophages, the very cells that would heal the wound and attack the bacteria.